matter doesn't exist, how can I see you? Because energy is invisible. Good point. And I say it, and I say, I know you're going to laugh. And then I tell them the answer, and then they laugh. And I say, I told you you're going to laugh. And the answer is, how can you see me? And the answer is, the lights are on. And everybody, I go, no, you see, light are photon particles, photons. And when they hit your energy, they're deflected back. So are you seeing me? I said, no, you're seeing a veneer of photons that are hitting the surface and going back. If there's no light, you can't see me. Okay? And the point about it is the scans that we use today, MRI, CAT scans that look through the body, scans don't read light, they only read energy. So when you see a structure in a CAT scan, a bone, a nerve, a muscle, and you say, yeah, well, that's matter. I go, no, the scan doesn't read matter. The scan only reads energy. And all of a sudden you say, your body is energy. And everything in your body is connected to your body. And that's why the new medicine is stop looking at one part versus another part in your body. All the parts are integrated just like the ripples on the pond. You can't talk about my gallbladder did this. I say, yeah, but your gallbladder is connected to every other thing too, so you can't blame the gallbladder. But the point about it is this: what it really comes down to is simply we are energy beings, and energy has no border. And as a result, we are entirely connected to everything in the universe because there are no borders. And that concept of separation, and I'm not part of it, I go, no, that's a conscious illusion. Why? We're all one. And all the fields influence you. Some fields are in harmony with you because the vibrations are all in harmony. And some fields are in disharmony where the waves are out of harmony, out of resonance. I go, so what's the point? I said, well, then that means when we act with energy, there are some energies that enhance us, good vibes, constructive interference, it's called. And there's some energies that can actually cancel our energy. That's called bad vibes, and that's called destructive interference. And I go, guess what? Your whole life is navigating constructive and destructive interference in the field. And when you bring your work in, so I hopefully answer a question that's down the road here. When you bring other fields in, fields can enhance who you are. Some fields can cancel who you are. And so the point is, you look at the physical world, I go, that's the illusion. That's I love it. Einstein's quote: "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one." That's what Einstein said. And the point about it is, this is all a nature of our interaction with energy fields. Now, my son, quote, quote, unquote, Alex, my student, no, he's closer, he's my son. He's understood this for a long time and has taken this back in history to see the so-called interactions of what leads us to today's expression of what we call the physical world, which is all built on the energy of consciousness and beliefs. And so biology belief is a belief story about us, but we're not the first people here. There was a lot of beliefs before we got here, and those beliefs have shaped the world. So I leave that. I let Alex do the history. I'll study the cells.
Awesome.
Yeah, the one thing in particular that absolutely is the same thing, I believe the word is analogous, right, Uncle Bruce?
Analogous is something is like something. Homologous is something is the same as something.
Yeah, homologous, okay, is the symbol of the tree of life, which is in the Kabbalistic understanding of the receiver of the tree. It's a representation of the tree. And without having to get into all of the interesting metaphysical stuff that comes from this science, which is really what it is, it's from a time where science didn't exist as the way we have it today, but it is a science. There is a mechanism to it. Basically, what it is the story about how we receive light, how we receive energy in its purest form, and it becomes clothed or embodied in different layers of existence where it becomes more and more what we end up with as the physical world. So at the top of the tree, you have pure divine light, and at the bottom, you have the physical world. And there's all sorts of associations and symbolic meanings for every part of this system. But it's essentially the same thing as the biology of belief, or epigenetics, really. The idea of a signal entering into the cell through the cell membrane, affecting some sort of change within the nucleus, which then creates an effect or response in the environment itself. So there's this cycle that occurs in the biology and occurs in this metaphysical system on how to create or understand how reality works. So it's another example of fractal reality, where no matter where you look, really, you'll see it evidence of this very important truth about how we are absolutely co-creating this world. We are the creator. And then you look at history, it's like, well, where do we get lost? How do we get this story of God and the creator and the story of like the Force from Star Wars? Like, where's the divide? But where did it go wrong? Well, you can look at history and you can see how it all kind of happened. Like I was saying before, there's always two sides to every story. Well, there's a whole other side to history that we're just not really aware of, but we're starting to become much more aware of it as the days go on here. There's more and more evidence to point to a time in the past where we actually had reached this level that Uncle Bruce talks about a lot in his graph about evolution, where with on this midline, where there was a time, a long time ago, where people literally embodied both the energetic spiritual principles and the physical understanding of nature at the same time. You could see it in our history with the Native Americans, or even when the founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence for the United States. There were these little moments in our history where we kind of had both, like sitting in balance of these energy and matter so-called things. But there was a time a long time ago, well, we were actually living in a civilization where we embodied this. There was a civilization predicated on this idea. And I think what we're about to find out in the days coming forward, it's like the days getting crazier and crazier, but it's actually the greatest opportunity we ever had. We might actually get to see what the world is like when we live in balance and harmony. So it's not just in the past; it's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.